people? I'm Jahiti of Brownfish, coming back again with the Terra Cafe Chronicles. Today I have with me Miss Adeke Rose. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear. Let me ask you, do you happen to have a copy of your CD with you right now? Because I would love for the people to be able to see it. And you know what? I actually think I have a copy inside my. I would be hardish if I have a copy inside my car right now. But we're going to carry on with the interview for right now. So let me ask you. I know you and I talked maybe a few months ago, and you told me a little bit about your history as an artist, and I was unaware that you can hear from your work that you have some experience in writing and delivering and things of that nature. But I was unaware of really the depth of your history, right? Could you give us a little bit of your background as a poet?
I started out in theater, even in high school and in college. I became a performance poet, and actually did a one-woman show, and I was part of a two-person show. And we traveled the college circuit, and enjoyed that immensely.
And so, what made you come back to doing poetry or out on stage?
Well, I've been performing, but very rarely, only as part of advocacy. And then, but I became very ill 2 years ago, and became very, very depressed. And my daughter came to me and thought that if she could get me back into poetry, that would give me something that would energize me and get me back into the world of the living.
All right. And so that's I'm glad you shared that, because that's important. We all know that statistically black people very rarely seek any type of help with problems. Like we kind of just bottle it up or just think they could deal with it on their own. And so that's beautiful to know that you chose an alternative outlet, which may not be that out of the box anyway, to use poetry to come out and return. So let me ask you, do you feel a sense of responsibility saying that you're an advocate? And what do you advocate for?
Well, because I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse, as well as not only being disabled, but being the parent of a child that's been on life support for 29 years. I advocate on behalf of families. I've testified several times on Capitol Hill. I've traveled around the country where I've gone to conferences, things like that, where people have asked me to come, do a piece or two, and talk about the needs of survivors or the needs of families, to help providers better provide services, and also for help people to see that you can go on, no matter what your obstacles and challenges, you can go on. So I advocate love, and I advocate survival, and I advocate never giving up.
Well, like within answering that question, like you opened up a door for so many other questions to be asked. But let me, I'm interested in this. What is the most, how do I word this now? What is a popular misconception that people have about the artist Adeke Rose? If you're aware of any at all.
Well, I think that sometimes people think that I'm a nice old lady who can't do very much. And I think that sometimes people underestimate my endurance and my strength. And my ability to survive.
I was thinking about something earlier today. I'm reading a book for some kids called As a Man Thinketh, right? Mm-hmm. And so, we often say you can't read a person's mind, right? So, but if your actions are based on your thoughts, then looking at someone's actions would mean that you probably can read their thought to a certain degree. Is there anything that, and we'll say your action is writing poetry, are there any things that, being so open in what you shared already with us, are there things still inside that you choose not to share? Or do you think you're an open book in terms of your experience? Are you willing to share everything?
I put everything in my poetry. I don't necessarily perform everything I write.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily publish everything that I write. So do I put it out in the poetry? Absolutely. Do I always share it?
Now I know you told me a couple months ago that you and your husband, I think, have a deal where you can't share certain poems. Have you worked them down yet? Are you going to come out with the, I don't know what we want to call it, sort of sexual erotic? Would you do that?
Well, I believe sensuality is a part of life, so there are sensual elements to some of my poems even now. But will I write a poem strictly about our sex life? Or he'll never tolerate it. I might write it, but I'd never share it. I'd share it with him, make life exciting.
All right. So, with everything that you've shared with us, is there a book coming?
Yes.
Yeah, when?
It's actually going to be released in April. It's called Wounded Kings and Warrior Women.
One more time. What is it called?
It's Wounded Kings and Warrior Women. And it's poetry on love, culture, and community.
I love it. Is poetry based on love, culture,
and community.
Which one is more important? Pick one.
Well, without love, you're not going to have culture or community.
So love would be the most important one. All right. Give me the name of one poet that you feel is up and coming. Like, I'm watching this person. They may not be the pinnacle now, but you can see that in them.
Like Adeke Rose.
Yes.
And I'm dying to do something with her, but she won't let me. Not yet.
You know who's off screen, right? You know who I'm giving that eye to off screen now. Let me think of one last question before you leave. And I say this, I've always felt a sense of connection to you because I think, artists, especially if you're selling something, in your head you may be thinking, what can I produce that could be the most accessible in terms of someone buying? And I was in the crowd at One Wednesday and you did this piece and I saw people getting up and leaving because it hit them so hard. And what I wanted to say is that at the end of that poem, I thought it was very responsible for you for what you said, and what you said at the end was, if you brought something out, essentially in paraphrasing, but if you brought something, if I just brought something out of you that was painful, I am an advocate. Come and talk to me. I can help you. Have you ever offered that and someone has actually come up to you and said, I need help?
Yes. Well, I'm also actually a licensed psychotherapist.
Okay.
And so I have offered that when I've taught, especially at survivors workshops, and people have come up and stayed. And sometimes I might be 2 or 3 hours because I have a line of people who just want to talk about the poem and how it touched them and tell their story.
Right.
And then I encourage them to write their story, and if they need help getting services, we do that too.
All right. Listen, I want to thank you. Incredible. This is Jahiti of Brownfish here with Adeke Rose. This has been the Terra Cafe Chronicles. Listen, be kind, go out and love someone. If someone upsets you, it's probably not upset at something you did, it's probably not you anyway. All right, so bless up.